Hello and welcome to another casted set from the Sunbros 1v1 tournament. This evening we have a best of three set between Moses and Ewoewo. This is game one, and we've got Moses in the pink playing as India, and we've got Ewoewo in the green playing as the Hausa. Let's get started. So the map is Korea. This is a week 2 game, so we're on the week 2 map set, which includes Korea. It looks like from that comment we might have got the games out of order. So we'll just cast this game. It might not have been the first game in the set, but we've got all the games ready to go to. For you anyway. Let's have a look. Ewoewo has started by plonking down the free livestock market and is sticking a granary out in the front of the base. That's going to capture this hunt, the sort of third hunt being pulled in there, so that's quite a nice outcome for them. And at the same time using the chaos ability to mutually annihilate these two tigers. I'm going to be picking up a 75 wood treasure for the trouble. That's a really nice pickup at this early stage. It also looks like they've sold a cattle. I think you start with 4 cattle, although I don't see any resources, so maybe not. We'll hop over to Moses. India doing India things. 6 villagers on wood in order to provide that villager production. Going to be keeping that going as they move through the exploration age and stacking up the food, already up to 300. Stacking up more of that in order to get to age 2. India's double explorers have just picked up 40 wood, so not quite as high numbers as Ewo's getting on the treasures. As Ewo's looking at another 60 coin here, so going for some really big number treasures. Doing quite well in terms of explorer HP, so feeling good about it. Let's just have a look, because this is not a normal card to see coming out in age 1. So shifts a palace and allows palaces to be built 1 age earlier. That's an unusual card. I haven't seen that before, actually. So that's going to ship a palace builder. Looks like the deck was called Rushy Rush, so I imagine we're going to see Ewo putting that palace in a fairly aggressive position and using it to really pump out some early units. Let's take a look at Moses' deck. It's just called Standard, so it might be a bit of a challenge for Moses here to see how they cope with this rush that it looks like Ewo's going to be throwing at them, as they're picking up 80 wood of their own. A lot of wood being picked up from the treasures in this early game. Moses is aging up with the Agra Fort in base, nice and defensive, so may have scouted the Hausa deck, may have guessed that some early aggression is on the way. Hausa are over the food requirement for their age up. Still waiting to click up. A little bit of a delay there, which isn't what you'd expect given that they're on the clock. But they have, even in age 1, plumped down that palace a massive 3,500 hit points. Right about in the middle of the map, just over the halfway line, and takes control of that middle trade post if they want to go for that, which being Hausa they may well choose to, and kind of denies the equivalent of the third hunt for the Indian villagers as well, and really takes up a lot of space. I wonder how that 3,500 HP is going to be a little bit less than the Agra Fort, but obviously it's doing a lot more than the Agra Fort's going to be doing in that defensive position. A really nice use of the palace here to get an edge in taking out these Black Panthers in order to pick up another 75 food. Some really aggressive treasure gathering from both players. We absolutely love to see it. Moses is up to age 2, has that aggro fort sitting there, and is sending in foreign logging. I didn't even note it, but I assumed card 1 was distributivism, so we've got the double wood trickles, and that's pretty much standard India. And that's pretty much going to cover villager production and a little bit extra to maybe contribute towards houses. Frees up all of the villagers on the map for Moses to go and gather resources for actually making units or age ups or things that are getting him progress in life. University going down for Hausa, that's going to provide the influence income. Let's see what Hausa are queuing up in terms of units. We've got a batch of 5 Fulani in queue at the war camp, which has been built just behind this palace. And we've also got raiders available. Another batch of 5 Fulani queued up at the war camp now. These archers are nasty. Very fast attack. And can also gather livestock, apparently. Didn't know that. Never really seen that exploited. Hausa is now shipping another palace wagon. This one comes with 300 influence. So 2 of their first 3 shipments have been providing palaces. It's kind of a building-based rush so far. We've got raiders now being trained from the war camp as well. So far we haven't really seen the point of this palace, although it has of course shot at some treasure gardens, and it's definitely restricted Moses' options. Haven't really seen any of the unique units coming out of it. Meanwhile, a little bit of a skirmish here. Moses has got 7 sepoys, got 4 Gurkhas, little early infantry army. Pretty classic move from India. Just having a pop at the Hausa force. The Hausa force doesn't like the luck of that and decides to back off to the relative safety of their 2 palaces. India may be feeling a bit of pressure here. They're a little bit hemmed in. They've managed to just sneak a villager onto this hunt here, which was, we thought, denied by the palace, so that's quite fortunate for them. They haven't got any villagers on this top hunt here, which I think the raiders were checking out. And they're building up a nice number of their strong sepoys. They're also strong Gurkhas. They're lovely beefy age 2 units. Oh, the raiders have found some villagers. They have found some hunters. I think 1 villager was lost there. The raiders could probably get a second if they commit hard, but they've seen the infantry army and they've decided to back away. So that villager gets away with just a few HP left. The raiders are long gone. They also took a bit of damage from the aggro fort while they were in there, but Ewoewo wasn't too worried about that for whatever reason. The aggro fort, unlike most buildings, doesn't have a multiplier against cavalry, so you're not going to do as well defending with that as you are with towers against these raiders. However, now, this is some really nasty harassment from Ewoewo, because the raiders have gone all the way around the outside and harassed the hunting villagers on the other side. Now sticking around to siege a fort while they wait for the Indian infantry to come over and meet them, and it's back out again. And now there are more raiders from the top. This is starting to snowball a little bit. These villagers are getting sent back to the town centre, 1 or 2 picked off every time. It's happening again and again. Moses just marching his infantry army back and forwards, can't really get a fight against these raiders because they're just moving around too much. Almost feels like I want to go split screen and show both sides of the base at once. It's going to be very frustrating for Moses, this, because they are not able to get those villagers out and working. Let's just check the villager count, actually. So 22 villagers. That's after losing at least 2, I think, maybe 3 or 4 to raids. So India in principle has that better economy. Has the wood trickle as well that's worth 4 or 5 more villagers. That's putting a lot of resources into the bank, but not really able to achieve much because, as we see, the saddest thing in the world, a single unit batch coming out there, because he's constantly being idled by these raids. Although, having said that, it's been about a minute or so since the last time Ewoewo got one off here. The villagers right now have just managed to pull the hunts a little bit closer to the base. Everything's a little bit more compact. You've got the Gurkhas ready, although I don't know how well 6 Gurkhas are going to do in a out-and-out battle against this Hausa army. Hausa are doing very well as score, and if we look, they've got a lot of extra units coming in from the back. We're a little bit distracted watching India's raids and their response to that and their troubles here. Oh, there's a lot of villagers are going to get taken out in this fight. We didn't notice quite how many units Hausa was building up. That's a really impressive mass at the 11-minute mark. We've got 7 javelin riders. We had a lot of raiders, although they've all died now. We've got a lot of Fulani left. We've got another 5 raiders coming in from the back, looking out for more villagers. India lost a good number of villagers in there. It's down to 20 now. Getting stunned. Getting stunned by these horrible griots with their sort of horn sound. He's definitely going to lose this fight, but I think more crucially, lost about 4 or 5 more villagers at the beginning of that. The raiders are, after being tied up in this fight for a while, have now figured out where the remaining Indian villagers are. They're hiding out over here and working on the Wonder, the Tower of Victory, to get up to Age 3. And you've got to say that I think India are pretty much locked out of this now. I don't really see a way back for them. They've just lost so much in terms of eco. They haven't got any units left on the map. And Hausa have everything going their way. Hausa going to have to back off a little bit though. They still don't really have any siege capability, so can't challenge the Agra Fort. Can't really challenge the town centre. The Indian economy, although very, very damaged by that raid, and they're still finding villagers to harass. And these 3 here are in trouble. They need to go back to the fort, or they're going to be dead too. Yep, 3 more dead. The Indian economy is absolutely annihilated, and so it's just really a matter of time now as the Hausa army grows stronger and stronger and bigger. They're just not going to be able to stand up to that. So Hausa coming in for another push, perhaps a final push. We've got the 10 raiders at the front, chasing down this handful of Gurkhas. They're going to start looking for villagers. Going to find 1 or 2 more. Let's check India's villager count back down to 15. India popping out. Bunch of Gurkhas. That's not really much use against this army, and I think the writing was on the wall for a little while. The GGs are called. And that's the end of this game. I'm not going to say our first game, because we think they're out of order, but really fast game there. It felt like Ewoewo just grabbed the momentum really, really early with these palace placements and with those very first groups of raiders who were able to cut off access to these hunts at the top and the bottom. And India, once they were derailed, just could not get back into it. The pressure kept piling and piling on from those Hausa units. Let's just take a quick look at the graphs. I want to have a look at the military unit graph. A little bit of much of a muchness here around the 6 to 7 minute mark. Then it really starts to pick up, and Ewo putting out a big mass of units here, and those are all those are mostly raiders as well as Fulani and Moses' standard infantry army, just not enough numbers, not the right type of units to put up a great defense against that. Let's just check the villager numbers. Villager numbers in Moses' favour for pretty much all of the game. It's really interesting to see that. I wonder if we look at the total resources. Total resources almost square, which tells you how much these villagers were getting idled. Let's just take a look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is heartbreaking to see. Yeah. A strong win here for Hausa in this game. That is the first game I'm casting of this set. And we'll see you in the next one. GG's.